The death toll from the devastating earthquakes that struck northern Venezuela last week has risen to 1,943, according to authorities. A further 10,571 people have been injured and 28,380 are receiving care in hospitals or temporary camps following the quakes, according to Jorge Rodriguez, the president of the country's National Assembly. Meanwhile, ordinary Venezuelans have been mobilizing in extraordinary numbers to offer their assistance alongside doctors.
Quisiéramos ir al área de rescate, de poder seguir esperando a los que aún estén con vida. Sin embargo, también hay un gran trabajo en el área de patología y en el ayudar a las personas que están buscando a sus desaparecidos a que por lo menos los identifiquen y tengan sus cuerpos para que reciban dignidad también para sepultarlos.
The 24th of June, back-to-back 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude tremors have caused widespread destruction as the UN estimates tens of thousands of people are missing. More than 6,450 people have been found alive as of Tuesday, with a further 17,500 able to escape by themselves, according to Venezuela's government. UNICEF has estimated that around 1.8 million people, including 680,000 children, require humanitarian assistance following the quake.
The European Union cannot sacrifice its industry due to climate change, Manfred Weber, president of the European People's Party, told Euronews as a brutal heat wave sweeping across Europe claimed around 1,300 lives. In recent years, the EPP has rolled back parts of the Green Deal, the package of policies designed to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions across the bloc by 2050 in a bid to prioritize competitiveness.
My party is Ursula von der Leyen party. My party is the party who did the Green Deal in the last mandate, and we fully support the Green Deal. It's our responsibility in today's world to deliver on these aspects. What we are asking for is to be reasonable in the business aspect, and that is what we are. We cannot kill our industry due to climate change.
Weber said using air conditioning was a necessity, even though it generates heat and contributes to greenhouse gas emissions when powered by fossil fuels.
It's a necessity, no doubt about this. In former times it was no question at all that we need heating in the north of Europe because it's colder there. There's no question. And today, if climate change, if hotter temperatures are arriving, we need also air conditioning.
On the issue of migration, Weber slashed Spain's plan to regularize undocumented migrants, calling it an issue for other EU countries. The regularization has recently attracted more than 1 million applications. The EPP leader also defended the EU legislation allowing the establishment of return centres for irregular migrants outside the bloc.
The French National Assembly has approved a controversial assisted dying bill by 295 votes in favour to 232 against, overriding the Senate's previous rejection of the legislation. National Assembly President Yael Braun-Pivet praised the vote as the culmination of years of thorough and respectful public debate, though critics remain heavily divided over whether the law is too permissive or overly restricted. The proposed text creates a legal right to aided dying exclusively for adult French citizens or residents suffering from grave, incurable illnesses in an advanced or terminal phase. Tight safeguards have been built into the final framework, completely excluding purely psychological suffering from the criteria and requiring a medical team to confirm the patient is acting of their own free will. Furthermore, direct administration of the lethal substance by a healthcare professional is restricted solely to patients who are physically incapable of doing it themselves. While the bill includes a conscience clause allowing doctors to abstain, the text now returns to the Senate, with the National Assembly poised to take the final constitutional word if a legislative deadlock persists. Global sea surface temperatures have reached record highs for this time of year, providing the latest stark indication that the world's oceans are entering what scientists describe as uncharted territory. On June 21st, the global average ocean temperature reached an unprecedented 21 degrees Celsius, according to measurements taken by the Copernicus Climate Change Service and the Copernicus Marine Service. This new reading officially beats the previous record peaks set in 2023 and 2024 by 0.1 degrees Celsius, a margin that may seem small but can wreak severe havoc on fragile marine ecosystems. Copernicus director Carlo Buontempo warned that current conditions likely indicate the beginning of a volatile new phase, with more temperature records expected to fall in the coming months. Climate scientists emphasize that the core underlying crisis of ocean warming will continue to worsen until global fossil fuel consumption is halted. The soaring marine temperatures echo recent United Nations projections, which found a 91% probability that at least one of the next 5 years will exceed the critical 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming threshold. The real-world impacts of a warmer ocean extend far beyond the coast, as heated waters rapidly increase evaporation rates and fuel the atmosphere with extra energy, triggering intense rainfall, flash flooding, and severe heat waves on nearby land. As Copernicus researchers continue to monitor the phenomenon, experts warn that many major global cities remain entirely unprepared for the unprecedented scale of extreme weather events driven by the shifting marine conditions.
The Vatican has issued a final appeal to the priestly fraternity of St. Pius X, while in Switzerland preparations are underway for a new break with Rome. On one side is the Pope urging them to stop, on the other are the Lefebvrists, who are determined to press ahead with the ordination of 4 new bishops without papal approval, a step the Holy See considers potentially schismatic. In a letter addressed to the fraternity, the pontiff issued a direct and personal appeal urging the traditionalists to return to full communion with the Catholic Church. The Lefebvrist response did not take long. In a statement published on the fraternity's website, Superior Father rejected the idea of a break with Rome and describing their move as an attempt to serve the Church through exceptional means. The Vatican's position is clear. Ordaining bishops without a papal mandate constitutes a serious violation of canon law and may entail automatic excommunication for the consecrating bishops and for the new prelates. The Holy See has repeatedly warned that this would be a step capable of reopening a deep wound in the Catholic Church.
Nel nostro pellegrinaggio giubilare.
In Spain, some 900 people died from high temperatures in the month of June, according to its Ministry of Health. Meanwhile, its meteorological agency recorded its second hottest June since records began. More than 600 of those deaths were concentrated in the week of the heat wave, making it the second June with the highest heat-related mortality since records began in 2015. The average temperature across mainland Spain was 23.2 degrees, 3.2 degrees above the average for the 1991-2020 period. On the 22nd and 23rd of June, Spain recorded the 2 hottest June days since at least 1950. Only June 2025, with an average of 23.6, has been hotter in the AMET historical series, which began in 1961. Heat waves are now not only more frequent and intense, they are also arriving earlier in the calendar and prolonging the summer, driven by greenhouse gas emissions, mainly from the use of fossil fuels.
A dangerous heat wave is set to intensify and spread across the east coast of the United States this week, bringing extreme temperatures through to the 4th of July holiday weekend. Temperatures are expected to range from 32 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius and will come coupled with high humidity. The National Weather Service says the local heat indices may hit up to roughly 46 degrees Celsius at the peak of the heat wave. The hot spell is likely to peak in the Midwest and Mississippi Valley from Tuesday through to Thursday, before moving into the Ohio Valley and East Coast on Thursday and into the weekend. The agency warned that there will be little to no overnight relief from the heat, with temperatures only dropping into the 20 degrees Celsius range at night. It comes after an early summer heat wave gripped much of Europe in late June. Parts of France, Spain, and Germany topped 40 degrees Celsius last week, piling pressure on local health services amid a spike in heat-related emergencies. Climate activists link the rise in frequency and intensity of heat waves to carbon emissions and have emphasized that governments need to do more to reverse the damage done before it's too late. The U.S. heat wave comes at a time when the world's football elite gather in the country to participate in the 2026 FIFA World Cup, where many matches have taken and are scheduled to take place in East Coast cities. FIFA has so far not announced any disruptions to its regular programming.
Canada will join next year's Eurovision Song Contest, marking the first new country to join since Australia in 2015. CBC Radio Canada has become a full member of the European Broadcasting Union, meaning it is now eligible to join the competition, where it will debut at next year's semi-finals. Eurovision Song Contest director at the EBU welcomed the move, paying tribute to Canadian-born singer Céline Dion, who won Eurovision back in 1988 while representing Switzerland. Canadian interest in Eurovision is high. For the 70th Eurovision Song Contest in May, Canada ranked among the top 3 countries in the rest of the world vote. Canadians were also among the largest ticket buyers outside of Europe. The 2027 Eurovision Song Contest will take place in Bulgaria, following a final that saw the Balkan country dethrone Israel.